My name is Dr. Sara Solomon, and I'm a Team Bodybuilding.com athlete, and I'm also a dentist, and I'm an intermittent fasting whiz. I'm a jump rope princess with Buddy Lee's Jump Rope Institute, and I'm also one of those people who sustained and recovered from metabolic damage. And I like cats. I was born and raised in a very small town in Ontario, Canada called Belleville. And I was brought up by a very academic set of parents. They pushed nothing but school and piano. Athletics, sports, after school sports was something that was completely poo-pooed. And it was all about practicing the piano and studying. So, of course, I followed in my parents' cerebral footsteps, and I went on to get my Bachelor of Science in Physiotherapy in 2001, and then my DMD from McGill University in 2005. And just so you know, DMD stands for Doctor of Medical Dentistry, not Dentist of Mass Destruction, just saying. After I graduated from dental school, I had put on a metric boatload of weight because I spent all my time studying, eating with a box of croutons and a bag of Twizzlers. So I joined a gym when I moved to Toronto, and I started to work out. I was losing weight, and before you know it, I was actually starting to look better-ish-er. And I was approached by a pro fitness model in the gym, and she said to me, "You should compete." And I said, "Hells no, I'm not gonna show the whole world my cellulite blurbles. That's not gonna happen." So to make a long story short, I actually competed 9 times, and you may even remember me as Lara Croft, the Tooth Fairy, Wonder Woman, and even a vampire. Fitness suddenly became a little bit too all-consuming for me. It was taking on every single waking minute of my life, to the point where it became an unhealthy obsession. Every waking minute was devoted to exercising. I was spending 2 to 3 hours in the gym training, an hour in the kitchen preparing my meals. And it wasn't before long that I started to completely lose my passion for fitness. All of this chronic training and over-dieting resulted in metabolic damage. My metabolism completely slowed down, and it was ironic because the very regime that I was following to try and lose fat was actually making me fatter. So the only way I could lose weight would be by drastically cutting my calories or by doing more cardiovascular training. And it was at a point where I was down to about 800 to 900 calories a day, and I was doing 2 hours of steady state, low intensity cardio on top of 1 hour of training a day. So it came to a point where something had to change. I was heading down a very slippery slope. I was starting to develop eating disorders, and I was miserable. I hated fitness. I was just ready to throw in the towel. So what I ended up doing is I started to do some research. And I was spending a lot of time at the pub. That's PubMed, not the pub. And I started to realize, hey, all of these theories that have been preached to me all of these years, it's actually not true. I just kept reading more and more and started to realize, you know what, there's actually a smarter way to go about living a healthy lifestyle. And it's actually endurable, it's maintainable, it causes no physiological, metabolic, no psychological harm, and it's fun and time-saving. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day. So now what I'm able to do is maintain a fit lifestyle, but not let it be all-consuming. It takes only, literally 30 minutes out of my day. My philosophy with training is that less is more. I quit my gym membership, and for the sake of compliance, I work out at home. And it's always first thing in the morning when I roll out of bed, because that means I'm less likely to not feel like doing it later. You have to start doing it before you even realize what you're doing to your body. Get it done and then go on with your day. So I do train 6 days a week, and my workouts are very intense and very brief. So I start with 10 minutes of jump rope to warm up, because I love jump rope. It's a passion of mine. And I then proceed with about 20 to 25 minutes of high intensity resistance interval training. So I set my timer and I go balls to the wall. I have very short rest periods and I am purposely keeping that intensity as high as possible so that I can make sure that I'm getting both my strength training and my cardiovascular training all in one time-saving workout. And I can do this with very limited equipment. I'm using my own body weight, I'm using a jump rope, and just a few dumbbells around the house. The key is that I'm not a comfort zone loser. I'm constantly changing it up. So one day I may be doing a high intensity interval training workout that's geared towards my lower extremities. For example, I'll be doing squats, deadlifts, but I'll be doing that in a very short work period, say for example 50 seconds, and then I'll have 10 seconds of rest. And I will repeat this through for a grand total of about 20 to 25 minutes. And then I always finish with 10 minutes of stretching and foam rolling. And this is more important than anything else for the sake of injury prevention. I don't miss it. It's just like flossing for me. It's something that has to be done daily. So the reality is that your body's not going to stay injury-free all by itself. Problem areas in your 20s suddenly become really big problems for you when you're in your 30s. So to prevent that from happening, it's crucial that you do stretch after every workout and foam roll. Now, I do not do low intensity steady state cardio anymore. I already know the consequences of that and how that actually contributed to my weight gain. So if I really want to get into that stubborn fat on the hips for women, the butt, the thighs, the back of the, I call it bra fat area, the best way to approach that is with a brisk walk in the final hour of your fast. Go for a walk for about 30 to 45 minutes. And that's going to do a lot more for you than putzing on an elliptical for 60 minutes at the gym. My approach to my nutrition is wonderful. It's intermittent fasting and I absolutely love it because it doesn't cause any hunger and it fits with my busy schedule. I spend 20 hours out of my day fasted, meaning no food goes into my mouth. And I also train fasted. So 4 hours out of the day, I eat. And I eat all of the calories that I would have eaten throughout the entire day, except I compress them into a very narrow window. The problem with eating 6 meals a day every 2 to 3 hours is that you're taking all of your calories for the day, you're dividing that by 6, and the problem is that you're not going to be able to achieve satiety with these small little micro meals that happen every 2 to 3 hours. So I was always hungrier than a hostage in a hold-up situation. I was constantly thinking about food. It became a food obsession. I was constantly binging and cheating in between meals. The other problem with this approach is that because you're constantly stuffing your face with food, you're always having your insulin levels elevated. And when that happens, that means that your fat oxidation, your ability to burn fat, is now shut off completely. So if you're not eating, you enter into fat oxidation mode and you actually burn fat. So I'm able to burn fat for 20 hours a day. But if I'm constantly stuffing my face, I'm always in glucose metabolism mode. So I'm not burning fat, I'm just burning the food that I'm shoveling into my face. So that's why I do this, because not only does it burn my fat, but because I don't have to spend all my time preparing meals and carrying them with me, I can just go to work and see patient after patient at work without ever having to stop to eat, never having to do meal prep, and I threw out all my Tupperware and I burned my cooler. A lot of people ask me, wow, Sarah, don't you get hungry if you're not eating for 16 to 20 consecutive hours? And the answer is no, I don't get hungry. Fasting has a suppressive effect on the appetite. Furthermore, I am drinking water all day long, and because I engage in fasted training, I'm consuming branched chain amino acids all day long. I also can have green tea and matcha green tea, so it keeps me full. There's a big difference between true hunger and psychological hunger and thirst. And when you start fasting, you learn pretty quickly when you really truly are hungry and when you are not. I'm the kind of person who wakes up in the morning, I'm never hungry in the morning. The thought of eating before training, after training, makes me want to spew like a volcano. So I do prefer to eat at night because I've always associated nighttime with pigging out. I come home from work after a long day and I just want to eat and eat and eat everything. So intermittent fasting gives me an opportunity to eat all my calories all at once. Does it matter if I split that up over the 4 hours and do 6 little mini meals or do 3 meals or do 1 great big meal? No. Research shows that that does not matter. If I want to go to Benihana's and eat all my calories all at once in front of everybody, I'll do that. If I feel like, having 5 meals during my 4-hour window, I'll do that. But the key point is that I don't follow some type of a rigid format, because when I do that, I'm setting myself up for failure because I know what my eating personality is like. Now, because I want to lose fat and not lose a ton of muscle in the process, what I do is I follow a higher protein diet. I usually like to make sure I'm consuming between 1.1 and 1.2 grams per pound body weight for protein. The rest of the time I'm eating between 15 and 25% dietary fat. I never drop below 10%, because when you do that, that's when your body starts to store fat again. The rest of it would be carbohydrates. So as long as I'm getting my daily fiber intake of at least 20 grams per day, then I know that I can have fun selecting the foods that I want to eat. And that's how I can get away with my daily discretionary calories of eating a handful of licorice, because some things haven't changed since university. When it comes to my supplementation, there are supplements that I take when I'm fasted, and there are supplements that I take when I'm feeding. So the supplements that I take when I'm fasted include CLA, branched chain amino acids, and pre-workout. The reason why I take CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, is that studies purport that it can support fat loss. The branched chain amino acids are crucial to anybody following an intermittent fasting regime. I take 10 grams before I work out, about 15 to 30 minutes before I work out, 10 grams during my workout, and then 10 grams after, and every 2 hours after that until I break my fast. Why? Because these will help to inhibit protein breakdown. It'll help to stimulate muscle protein synthesis while you're in your fasted state. So that way, training fasted will not be catabolic. I like to take a branched chain amino acid that has no sugar, no carbs. It's only 10 calories, so it's minimal caloric load, so that way you will not break your fast by ingesting the branched chain amino acids. So because I'm training fasted, sometimes you wake up and you're just not feeling that, I want to work out feeling. So what I do is I will take a pre-workout, anything with caffeine in it, just to help you get through the workout. And that's not something I do every day. It's just something I do when I need that little extra kick. So when I break my fast and I start to eat, my supplementation includes multivitamins, fish oil, L-carnitine, and vitamin D and calcium. So the multivitamin is something I do take when I'm in a fed state, because vitamins A, D, E, and K are fat soluble, so you have to have food in your stomach for you to be able to absorb them. So I like to take a multivitamin because, especially when you're following a lower calorie diet, it's not always feasible to get all of your micronutrients from your diet. So it can't hurt just to pop a multivitamin. I take fish oil because it can help with leptin sensitivity. And this is important for lean people because the leaner you are, the less leptin you have. And leptin is what tells you when you're hungry. So if you have low leptin levels, it's going to tell you, hey, I'm hungry, let's eat. And it can also, by raising the leptin levels, help to boost your metabolism and your fat burning potential as well. I take L-carnitine because that has been shown with research to assist with fat burning. What's interesting is that L-carnitine is supposed to be taken with a carbohydrate to have its effect. But new research has shown that you can just take it with the fish oil and you can still get the benefits of the L-carnitine. I take vitamin D. I also live in Canada, so there's not a lot of sun. So I take vitamin D supplementation, and this also in studies has been shown that vitamin D deficiency is associated with a greater fat mass. So give me vitamin D, please. Calcium, which is especially important for people who may not be ingesting dairy on a daily basis, is an important supplement. And research has shown that taking calcium in conjunction with a high protein intake can increase your fecal fat excretion by about 350 calories a day. My final words of wisdom you must always think critically before doing anything in life, not just fitness and diet. Don't do something because somebody told you to do it or because you read it somewhere or because your favorite athlete does it. Actually do your homework, do some research, and make sure when you do select your diet and your training program that it is something that will give you results 365 days a year, that is endurable 365 days a year, that doesn't cause you any harm, and that saves you time and is fun. So for more Sarah-centric information, including my recipes, make sure you keep checking back at Bodybuilding.com.